Love, be encouraged, love will see you through. Love, be the first to love and fill your heart with. Be about it. Sing a song about it. Never doubt that. Inspirational love is our shelter. Now and always love. Before and after love. Love, love gives you courage, heals your heart. It's the best thing. You can't go wrong with it. 'Cause it's eternal and it has no end. So stand on up for love. Full dimensional love is our shelter. Now and always love. Before and after love. Love, love gives you courage, heals your heart. It's the best thing. You can't go wrong with it. 'Cause it's eternal and it has no end. So stand on up for love. Unconditional love is our shelter, love. Now and always love. Before and after love. Love, love, mother. There are too many of you crying. Brother, brother, brother. There are far too many of you dying. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Yeah. Oh, Obama, we don't need to escalate. You see that war is not the answer. For only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Brother, too many dying. Sister, mother, fathers, far too many of you crying. You know love is our courage, love. Now and always love. Before and after love. Love, love. Love being. Get your groove on. Love gives you courage,
purpose statement. Our purpose is to create a spiritual community that recognizes that there is one presence and one power in the universe, God. Daily, we actively practice this spiritual truth. We open our heart space to each person to acknowledge one another as expressions of God. It is in each other that we see God.
May our hearts be open. 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 May our hearts be open.
Good morning, Open Heart. I'm so glad to be with everyone today. Let's pause and take a few deep breaths together before preparing ourselves for today's gathering and for today's message. Today, I'm grateful for this opportunity to be together again, wherever we are, some nearby and some far away, some in this moment and some being with us later. Wherever and whenever you are watching, let us take this opportunity to calm our thoughts, to be ready for the gifts of our gathering, knowing that we are all connected by Spirit, and knowing that the more we are able to let go of all the distractions, all the to-dos, all the what-ifs, the what's next, and to just be in the present, listening deeply, the more our hearts will be able to receive today's words. I see us all now being present and open for today's journey. Amen, Ashe, and so it is.
Anyway, we'll fall into place.
All right, y'all. Let's try to. Somebody start off on rock so we can be together again. Here we go.
We were together.
May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small standing by the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. When you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never feel those mountains in the distance, and never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, but they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth the making. Don't let some helping heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, dance.
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Good morning and welcome to our Heartstream for this Sunday, July the 9th, 2023. I'm so glad that you have joined us for this morning's Heartstream. It's always good to have you as a part of us. The month of July brings some exciting things. We first off have on the fifth Sunday, July the 30th, during our Heartstream, our very special guest speaker, Angela Sargent. And then later that afternoon, we gather for our next Fifth Sunday Fellowship. That's right, we will be in person at the Haven at 662 Minor Road near the University of Memphis campus. Once again, as we did the last time, we have in store a time of fellowship, a time of reflection, a time of meditation. We had a wonderful time the last time we got together, and I know that this time promises to be no different. Thank you for all of the things that you do to make this Heartstream possible and for us to continue to get the message about New Thought, Ancient Wisdom out to the world. It's through your financial contributions, it's through your prayers, it's through your energy, it's through the text comments that I get so often from you. A lot of the ways in which you continue to encourage this energy and encourage this movement. Thank you. And I always find it a delight, even though I know that we're doing this virtually where you are, because there is no spot where God is not, because we are all connected by the divine. It gives me delight to say, I greet you, I bless you, I see God in you.
Our theme for the month of July, with a clear target in mind. With a clear target in mind, I align with Spirit to achieve what I want. Together, we focus, direct, refocus, and redirect to live a healthy, whole, and abundant life. And so it is.
Today is a day like no other day. Just think and you'll know that it's true. Days like today should be holidays. So I'm singing this message to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a right out. Don't give up and don't give in. Although it seems you never win, you will always pass the test as long as you keep your head to the sky. You can win as long as you keep your head to the sky. You can win as long as you keep your head to the sky. You can win, yes, as long as you keep your head to the sky. You can win, yes, as long as you keep your head to the sky. Be optimistic. Gotta be optimistic. Gotta be optimistic. Gotta be optimistic. Gotta be optimistic.
Hello, I am Aisha Battle, and the affirmative reading that I have selected for today is The Morning Prayer by Marianne Williamson. Dear God, I give this day to you. May my mind stay centered on the things of spirit. May I not be tempted to stray from love. As I begin this day, I open to receive you. Please enter where you already abide. May my mind and heart be pure and true, and may I not deviate from the things of goodness. May I see the love and innocence in all mankind. Behind the mask we all wear and the illusions of this worldly plane, I surrender to you my doings this day. I ask only that they serve you in the healing of the world. May I bring your love and goodness with me to give unto others wherever I go. May me, the person you would have me be. Direct my footsteps and show me what you would have me do. Make the world a safer, more beautiful place. Bless all your creatures, heal us all, and use me, dear Lord, that I might know the joy of being used by you. Amen.
Tell me, what's going on at Open Heart? Well, let's watch and see. On Sunday, July the 30th at 10 a.m. during our Heartstream, our special guest speaker will be Angela Sargent. We look forward to having Angela with us again. Our next Fifth Sunday Fellowship takes place on Sunday, July 30th from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at The Haven, 662 Minor Road, and we look forward to you being there. We had a wonderful time the last time, and we know that this time will be no different. We look to see you there. There are 3 ways to give. Give through Cash App, OHSC 901, online at ohsc901.com, or text to give 615-422-4292. At Open Heart, we believe in the power of affirmative prayer. And as you see these names here, these are individuals and families that we remember and hold the space for. We know that all is done in consciousness for each and every one of them. We continue to lift them in all that we do. Start your day or continue your day with our daily affirmative prayer call that takes place every morning at 8 a.m. time. 901-586-8755, where one of our prayer team members will lead you in prayer.
expect a miracle.
Come on, take out.
What you think of me is none of my business. Yes, you've heard me say that a few times, and I've even done messages around that title. The religious science minister Terry Cole Whitaker has a book that has been out for years that says that very thing. What you think of me is none of my business. However, this morning, I want to go in another direction to say what I think of me is my business. What I think of me is my business. The thing of it is that as we move forward, and you know that I mentioned on last Sunday, I'm featuring the messages that I deliver this month on the book Psycho Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And at the crux of that is the idea that it's our self-image, that when we want to achieve success, when we want to attain the things that we talk about good health, healthy relationships, abundance, whatever else it might be that we're pursuing, that self-image is an important aspect, an important part of that. And so I want to start out by, first of all, going way back, talking about, if we begin in the book of Genesis. There we know that the creation story in the book of Genesis, the creation stories in the book of Genesis, are not intended to be taken literally. And I know some of my more traditional and fundamentalist friends will have an issue with me saying that, but I'm just going to go ahead and assert that. I've said it before, it's no surprise. They were not meant to be taken literally. But there's certain things that the text, if you will, in my mind, asserts. First is that creation, all things had its beginning in God. All things were created and continue to be created by God. God being that creative presence, that creative source and force in the universe that creates. The second thing that I want to emphasize that it also talks about is the fact that you and I are created in the image and the likeness of God. We are created in the image and the likeness of God. When I was in seminary, my Old Testament professor, W.J.A. Power, when he was talking about that particular text in the Bible about being created in the image and likeness of God, he mentioned the fact that that became very real to him one day when he was teaching class, and one of the students, who happened to also be a mother, had to bring her daughter to class with her that day. He said her daughter was maybe around 3 or 4 years old, and as she sat there with him, as she sat there with her mother, she noticed that the daughter had a coloring book out, and she looked at how the same way that her mother held the pen as she was taking notes for class, her daughter was holding her crayon to color. And the facial expressions that the mother had, he could see those also reflected in the daughter. And he said for him, that really brought to life the idea of being created in the image and likeness of God, that each and every one of us, you and I, are created in the image and likeness of God. We are God in expression, and as such, we express that. However, it's important also to remember that so often our self-image gets in the way. That how we think about ourselves maybe doesn't do justice to the idea of being created in the image and likeness of God. Maltz was a plastic surgeon, and he was successful. He had many patients that were successful, many patients that he would perform plastic surgery on him. He would talk about, he had a salesman who felt like that because of a scar that he had on his face, that it made him an undesirable salesperson. He had trouble getting clients and all of that. And once Maltz fixed the scar on his face, he was fine. Another woman who felt like that her career as a university professor probably wasn't going where it was because her nose, and he fixed her nose, and things started to look up for her, and so on and so on and so on. And he talked about those cases where people were successful. But on the other hand, he was also puzzled by something else that he also noticed happening in other patients. And that is that even after he performed particular kinds of plastic surgery on them, those people continued to have the issues and the problems that they did. They continued, even though there was not a scar on their face, for example, or maybe their nose or whatever else, they continued to behave and perceive themselves as having those things that made them undesirable, that made them not able to achieve the success that they wanted to. And that's what led him into the idea that it's ultimately self-image that is so very important. And I adopt that, and I take that too, that it's self-image that is the most important thing. Now, I know you might say, well, what about a relationship with God? But my idea with this is that when it comes to our relationship to God, if we don't have that proper self-image, then it becomes difficult, if not impossible. What impossible for God? It becomes difficult for God to do things through us, because God can do no more for us than God can do through us. And if we feel ourselves not to be worthy, if we feel ourselves to have a poor self-image, if we make God being a judgmental, whimsical God, then it becomes difficult to navigate through life, and those kinds of things can happen for us. So our self-image is important. I remember watching a movie not too long ago with my wife, and there was a man who had found the person of his dreams. And the person of his dreams was actually pursuing him, but he kept sabotaging the relationship because he didn't believe himself to be worthy. He thought there's no way that this person would be interested in me because I don't have this together. I'm not able to do that. So it's our self-image again. And what Marx found was that many of those patients that he performed surgery on, and the surgery had been successful, but they again continued to fault themselves, continued to doubt themselves, continue to see themselves as being less than whole, as being less than what they felt themselves needing to be. So he set out about the idea, about the task and the idea of discovering what he thought was at the root of this failure for those people to thrive after the surgery, and discovered that it was self-image. And self-image is important. A Tesla Model, and no, I'm not one of those people who worships Elon Musk, but a Tesla Model X Plaid sells for $122,000 right now. The 2023 model is $122,000 for that. If I were to offer you a car, a brand new 2023 Tesla Model X Plaid for, let's say, $35,000, what would be your first question? Your question would be, what's wrong with it? Or you might even accuse it of being stolen. But what the price for that is, and the price that I would be asking you for, that whenever there is something that is discounted, we think of things as being flawed. We see as things as being flawed, we tend to discount them. So the thing of it is that if I were to offer you that at that price, you would think that there was something that was flawed. And so often when we fail to have a positive and powerful and significant self-image, we see ourselves as flawed, and we discount ourselves, and we play ourselves down. Going back to that idea of people who see themselves in that way, there is a friend that I was talking with just not long ago about working out, and I work out on a regular basis each week, and she was talking about going to the gym, working out, and her statement was, I got to go to the gym and work out to get these pounds off. And I'm looking at her because if anybody would look at her, definitely the last thing that they would say was that she was fat. But that's how she was describing herself, as fat. And she was talking about, I need to get these pounds off. And I'm thinking in my mind, how in the world could she consider herself to be fat? Because anybody else that would see her would think of her as anything but fat. And the really fascinating and interesting thing about it was, not long after that, I was talking with someone else and they brought her up, and they didn't know whether I knew who they were talking about. And they described her as being that tall and slender woman, and then went on to talk about where she worked. And I had to laugh to myself because I thought back to our conversation and her assertion that she was fat or had some fat that she needed to lose. So again, our self-image, how we think of ourselves, can very often stand in the way and prevent us from being that which we need to be. So it becomes important for us, first off, to recognize what our self-image is. And the reason why that is important, you remember the master teacher Jesus warning us about putting new wine into old wineskins, that if we work at changing our self-image, if we work at changing things, but we haven't changed our self-image, then after just a little while, we'll go back to the old ways. You think about people who, for example, are not used to handling large sums of money or having large sums of money in their lives, and all of a sudden they win the lottery, and a lot of them go broke not shortly after that because they've had the money that has changed things for them, but they've not changed their consciousness to a prosperity and abundance consciousness. And so very soon they lose the money. So it's important for us as we look at this to work on changing our self-image. So much of the change that we often try to do is external. It's on the outside. We change our bodies, for example. We change the way that we dress, the way that we look, maybe the way that we speak, maybe the way that we style our hair, or whatever else it might be, the glasses that we get, whatever it might be, thinking that those changes will do something for us. But if we've not done something about the inside, if we've not done something about our self-image, it's all for naught. It really doesn't make a difference. So the first thing when it comes to changing our self-image that we have to do is we have to become brutally honest with ourselves about what's showing up in our lives. Brutally honest with ourselves about what's showing up in our lives. And I want to caution you. I want you to give yourself some grace. And remember my definition of grace, and that is that understanding that we make decisions at the time based on the information that we have, based on what it is that we think we need to do. So if you find yourself in looking at what's showing up in your life, and there are things that are undesirable, things that you really don't want to have happen for you, even though you said something else, it's often, and it's probably because of the self-image that you carry, that is affecting what shows up. So being brutally honest. If you want to talk about the fact that you are successful and you don't get rattled with things, but things are happening all the time that speak of something other than success, or you find yourself being rattled, I don't want you to be some of those people that oftentimes in New Thought who talk about, I love everybody. I just love everybody. And then you bring a person's name up and they don't have anything good or kind to say about them. It's not about lip service. It's not about that, but it's about looking at ourselves honestly and seeing what's showing up in our lives and recognizing that as it shows up, we have the opportunity and the power even more to change. But we start with our self-image. And then the way that we continue with this process is that we begin planting seeds, those seeds that will bring about for us a new revelation and a new understanding and a new self-image and self-concept. And that's the second stage, is that we start planting the seeds. And I will tell you, but I'm about to close, and I know when preachers say I'm about to close, sometimes that doesn't mean anything, but I honestly and truly am about to close. But planting seeds, we plant seeds by the power of our imagination. And that's going to be my message next Sunday, the power of imagination, because it's not just child's play, but there is something very powerful about using our imagination. And as we have learned since things like New Thought coming into the mainstream, that there are a lot of people who use imagination and all of the aspects of it to bring about changes in their lives. And it's the same way here, that as we plant the things that become necessary for us to change our self-consciousness and our self-concept and our self-image, it's about knowing and trusting in the universe and about planting the seeds, the biggest part of that seed aspect being our imagination that brings about all of the things that we wish to have, because what we think about, we bring about. So it's an opportunity for us to be able to do this. And it's an opportunity for us to begin being serious about the idea that what I think of me, of myself, is my business. So it is. Amen. Ashe.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, Gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. Are you listening? You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release. I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I am free in the Spirit. Do you want to be free? Then let me hear you say yes. Yes, I'm only here for God. I know.
No more tears to wipe away. No more fear to bind me. I've been led to find my way. Here I stand in faith and courage to feel what's within me. No more silence, I am free. Surrender to the mystery. You can't control, so let it go. Allow it to simply be here and now, and everything is one with each other. Love is the answer. Know that you're perfect, exactly the way you are. The words you choose to speak surrender to the mystery. You can't control, so let it go. Allow it to simply be here and now, and everything is one with each other.